So our homestead is located on a property that's been here for over 100 years with a house on it. Very old home, very old materials. A lot of what we've had to deal with is old plumbing, some old electrical, septic tank's very old, and our well is very old. It's so old that it doesn't even have a plaque on the top that explains how deep the water is, how deep the well casing is. So we've basically just been using it at our own risk. However, we have had the water tested a couple times without any excessive levels of risky chemicals. You know, there is a list online of all the chemicals that have been reviewed, but our water test has shown chemicals that have not been reviewed for risk yet. So to mitigate our risk, we use a Brita filter. For our drinking water at least, we're able to kind of filter out what we can. We do have a special type of filter in here. It's the blue one that Brita offers. It filters out lead, and it lasts a bit longer, a few months extra than a regular filter would, but it does have an added price. So we've been dealing with this for a few years now, just trying to keep our drinking water clean. One of the bad things about this design is it's a clear pitcher, and when there's sun coming in, like we have here in the kitchen, you tend to get algae and maybe some other organisms in the drinking water that we don't necessarily want. And until now, we haven't really had a good solution. But let me show you what we're replacing this with. After a lot of research, we decided to go with the Big Berkey system. We've seen some other homesteaders and off-gridders using this system, watching videos on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and unbox this, do the red dye test, which it explains will make sure it's not leaking dirty water from the top into the clean reservoir, and then we'll probably do a video review on it as well, so stay tuned. Alright, so I cleaned all the components and I back flushed the filters. You can see here I have them dripping in a tray, but basically I use the included rubber washer to pull it up to the sink spigot and push hot water through until it started coming out of the pores. And that's just a way to kind of open up the pores and make sure the filter's ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and install these filters. So as you can see here, I have a 2 filter configuration, but the product has 4 holes. It can support up to 4 filters. You're supposed to do it in a symmetrical design where 2 opposite holes have the filters, and the 2 other holes, you put these corks in it. So I'm going to shove these down, do a quick drip test, make sure nothing's dripping before I do the red dye test. Looks pretty good, so I'm going to dump this out, do the red dye test next. The instructions call for 1 teaspoon of dye per gallon of water. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this in. It says to get 2 equal-sized jars, 1 for each filter, in my case, since I have 2 filters. I'm ready to pour the red dye in now. Our Berkey system successfully passed the red dye test. Next, we rinsed out the water, and we've been using it successfully for the past couple of weeks. As a gravity filtration system, the Berkey relies on the weight of the water down in the bottom tank to increase the flow rate of the water. You can see here what happens when there's no weight of the water anywhere in there. It kind of reduces to a slow trickle. And in order to reduce waste, we took the filter systems out of our old Brita, and we just used the pitcher to refill the top reservoir of the Berkey. And you can see here, I do 2 pitchers worth. Basically, the first one filled 3/4 of the way, the second filled half of the way, and that pretty much brings the top reservoir of the Berkey up to the maximum level. Well, I just wanted to do a quick video review of the Berkey filter here. We have the big Berkey. It seems to be plenty for 2 people in a household, maybe 3, depending on how much water you drink a day. It's plenty for us for 1 day, filling up the top reservoir. Typically, maybe the morning of the second day, I'll have to refill it. And it's as simple as taking this lid off the top, dumping water in, letting it trickle to the bottom. Some people have had different reviews, negative reviews about kind of just lifestyle choices. They don't want to have it on the countertop. We do like it on the countertop. Works well for us. Some people don't like how you can't tell by looking at it that the water's low. Doesn't bother us. We can tell by the flow rate. Anyway, much better than having a Brita filter, especially since we don't need to refrigerate the water. Some people who like cold water might need a Brita or something that's more refrigeratable. The whole point of this for us is to not need electricity. We can use this off-grid. We can even bring it camping if we want to. So that's about it. And I hope you subscribe, like the video, put in some comments, ask us some questions. We'll be happy to do some more tests for you to answer any questions you have about the Berkey water filter. See you next time. Thanks. Bye.